My name's Ola.
I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Mila, and you are listening to the youngest Canadian radio show host on CKMS 102.7 FM Radio Waterloo. We would first like to acknowledge we are here on the traditional territory of the
Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, Ottawa-Darn, and Neutral Peoples. Thanks to all the listeners for tuning in, and thanks to all those on Facebook seeing us live on our new radio show, hashtag Can Youth Vote Matter, and hashtag Can Minority Vote Matter Awareness Campaign. Also, our radio station needs your support. We are a community channel and we are non-profit, and we're looking to buy new equipment. Just go to radiowaterloo.ca/donate. Thank you. Today, we're honored to have as our guest Jeff Pelich, Vice President of the ETFO, the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, Waterloo Region, and the WR Labour Council.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
I'm excited.
So guys, you might be wondering, why this awareness campaign and radio show? Well, with my awareness campaign and radio show, youth and minorities can learn firsthand what steps are involved in the election process, how they can run or become part of a political campaign or a cause that they believe in, what motivates their political candidates and activists to do what they're doing, and what sacrifices they have to make to do what they're doing. My radio show will show youth and minorities how they can make themselves heard and have their issues get the priority they deserve. Youth are a quarter of Canada's population, and minorities are no less than 1/5 either. Youth and minorities, what I've learned with my awareness campaign is that your elected members will listen to you if you voted. The minority can come out and partner with their candidate, and that candidate, once elected, will support them in making legislation and laws. And youth, you need to understand this. Any legislation made today will affect your present and your future the most. After every election, elected representatives know which groups vote in the elections. If they knew that the youth and minorities voted, they'll listen to them and listen to their issues. Youth and minorities, according to statistics, voter turnout varies across age groups and is worse among young voters, a gap that has widened since the 1990s. Only 38.8% of Canadians aged 18 to 24 voted in 2011, compared to 75.1% aged 65 to 74. Turnout also tends to be lower among single parents and newer immigrants who have obtained citizenship, according to Statistics Canada. The voter turnout in the 2018 Kitchener municipal elections was only 28%. Only 28%. Come on then, youth and minorities. You say they don't listen to us, they don't make legislation or laws that address our issues and concerns. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Remember, Monday, October 21st, you vote. Youth and minorities, our Kitchener Mayor, Barry, has started the Mayor's Task Force on Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. This is a great initiative to counter all the negativities that are increasing and surrounding us today. According to Statistics Canada, hate crime in Canada has increased by almost 50%. That is a lot, believe me, by any measure that's a lot. In our own Canada, the ship SS St. Louis, with more than 900 Jewish refugees on board who were seeking asylum and safety. These innocent refugees were returned to Europe, where a large number of them later died in the Holocaust and the death camps. This ship, this voyage of the damned, had children on board who were scared, terrified, and crying, but at that time we looked away. The discrimination that our LGBTQ+ community faced many a times, whether it's the Toronto's bathhouse raids or many other such incidences, all these are part of our Canadian history too. KW listeners, you don't have to go far. Just go to your Waterloo Museum or sit with different groups and you will know that in our own KW, who treated wrongly the German immigrants in the early 1900s, and later down the years who treated the former Yugoslavian immigrants wrongly, and now who are treating the Syrian immigrants wrongly. Going to the Waterloo Museum, you will learn how our Chinese migrants were taxed wrongly. Also, many Canadian First Nations were stopped from many of their traditional practices. And who among us can forget Viola Desmond, a woman of color, a woman of minority, a young woman who refused to leave her seat in the white section of a theater. Yes, this happened in our Canada. Listeners, have you heard the hues and cries of parents of children who have autism? Even these kids were not spared. But guys, our Canada is a beautiful place. We had our downs, but we educate each other. We do not hide our history. All these are our strengths, and this is what makes us great. We stand strong together. Most of us are good at heart. Every time I stand in front of a mirror, I say, "Hey Allah, I'm a Canadian." It makes my heart full with joy and it brings a smile to my face. We all love calling this beautiful and great country Canada our home. Our beloved veteran Harry Watts once told us that our Canada is like a garden, and all the different flowers in it are what make it beautiful. This is what he fought for and what he believes in, and I hope we're able to keep it that way. Youth and minorities, now more than ever, your role is very important. As you hold the power to vote, youth and minorities, to make these negativities that are growing ever stronger in our Canada go away, we need to come together and vote, because our vote and our elected representatives will make laws and legislation that can take away these negativities. So guys, again, the Mayor's Task Force on Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion is a great example of what positive things our elected representatives can do. We never realized that they always make us fight us. They always make us feel angry and disgusted with us. They make us hate each other, we the common people. They enjoy everything, even make custom vans if they want to. But they take away our jobs, destroy our families and our communities, and make us, we the ones who are suffering, fight each other. And then they make us do all these horrible things to each other. And for who? For them. I support my teachers, their jobs, and their families. Our teachers are common people just like us, but they make us feel as if our teachers have private jets, or our teachers, who are part of us, are taking our taxes and spending it at beaches, vacations, or casinos, or something. They make us say, who's going to pay for it? Well, if the rich don't have to pay taxes, we can at least have some jobs. And we just start believing in all these lies. How many of us have ever been to a teacher's home? How many of us know a teacher's family? But we are so easy in believing their lies. These teachers are just like us, trying hard at their jobs and trying to provide a decent living for their families. Ask yourself, once you drop your kids at school, are you then scared till your kid comes back home? No, you're not. You're not. Once you drop your kids at school, you go do what you have to do, and you know in your heart that your kids will be safe and learning in school, and these same teachers, who are part of us, will take good care of the kids. Do we really know what these teachers, who are us, are asking them? They're just asking for a job security and a decent wage, but they make us think these teachers are the ones who are evil. This is how they always play their games. They make us fight us. From taking nurses' jobs to making parents of autistic kids cry in despair to saying you do not deserve a decent minimum wage. Saying, oh, by giving you better wages it'll scare and close the businesses and increase unemployment. Tell me, how many rich people you know or see that they're living just like us, we the common people, and struggle just like us in their everyday lives? They always make us feel that it is we, the common people, who are at fault, that we are the thugs, we're the bad ones, and we just keep fighting us. Today we need to stand with our teachers who are part of us, and tomorrow we should always stand together for each other. Remember, we are not the bad people. We are the ones who need to help each other. Let us for once not let them win by making us fight us. We, the common people who just want job security and a decent living for our families. Just check their lifestyles and then look at the lifestyles of us, and then make a decision whether asking for a decent wage and a job security is a good or bad thing. Guys, remember, see history. Whenever we have defied the teacher, it has always made us cry, not them. For once, let us not let them look down on us and laugh. If we stand together and support each other, they will never win again. Again, today I'm honored to have Jeff Pelich, Vice President of the ETFO, the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, Waterloo Region, and the WR Labour Council. Isla, over to you.
Jeff, can you please tell us about yourself, about how and why you got into your activism, your work in the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, Waterloo, the ETFOWR, and the challenges you face every day?
Absolutely, I can do that. So I started in teaching about 15 years ago. I went to school to become a music teacher, actually. And very quickly, I found myself really drawn to students who were really struggling in school. I was in a challenging school. My classes, I taught grade 7, 8 music, and there were a lot of kids who just didn't fit the mold of what we were expecting them to do in schools. And so I felt it was really important to focus my efforts on working with some of those really tough, challenging kids. So I taught most of my career in a program for kids with a variety of learning disabilities, children with autism, a variety of mental health concerns. And we spent a lot of time trying to build a community in our classroom. So we had myself and then 2 child youth workers, and we only had 8 students, which really sounds great because you can imagine how much easier it is to work and build that community when you only have 8 kids. But these were some of, there were definitely students who didn't succeed in classrooms where there were 30 kids and where there were 1 teacher. And so they came to us, and we worked to create that community and get them feeling like school is actually a good place. And while we were doing that, teach them something at the same time, which was great. But we very quickly learned that as much as we tried, we couldn't help every student. And we tried really, 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 really hard to make that happen. But there were a variety of factors outside of the classroom that we didn't control. So the social economic, the children living in poverty came to school with a whole bunch of baggage. They were struggling to be successful because at home they didn't get basic needs. They didn't get food. They didn't have what they needed to survive. And then we had children where their parents were doing the best that they could. We're trying to get them support for their mental health concerns and get them the appropriate medication. And they were on waiting lists for years. So, and they were at a crisis point where their parents were struggling a lot to keep them under control at home and to find some success for them. And so it was really frustrating because it didn't matter what we did in our classroom. The children struggled, and we were dealing with this. And I, as the teacher, and my 2 child youth workers, we tried everything. We would try everything, and it just wouldn't work. And I felt as though, looking out and seeing who those people were who were trying to fight for better mental health support, better access to doctors and nurses, and fighting and trying to help children get out of poverty and their families raise out of poverty. And the groups that I saw fighting that were teachers' federations, were unions in general, and then a whole bunch of different community groups who were fighting and pushing back on the governments and saying, we need more support. And just like you said in your opening, that, it doesn't make sense when governments are spending money on things like private vans, and we have children who are on a wait list for 1.5 years to get the help that they need so that they can even enter a door in a school. Like they can actually get in the building and learn. And that wasn't fair to me. And so that's when I began to get more involved, both in ETFO, but also with the Waterloo Regional Labor Council, because teachers are part of a larger group of workers. And if we all stand together and if we all fight to try to get better resources for children, both in our classrooms and into our schools, but also into hospitals and to doctors and to nurses, then we are going to have a better society, and people are going to be more successful and get jobs that pay a good wage, and everyone rises up. So that is why I did what I started to do, and have been doing. Been a vice president now with ETFO for 3 years. This is my 4th, and we keep pushing back, we keep fighting, and we keep trying to find ways to make it better for all students in our schools.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Listeners, we support our teachers. According to Kitchener Post, Grand River Hospital cuts nurses' jobs. 10,000 teachers are to lose their jobs soon. When a parent loses a job, it affects their children the most. Ask the children. They will tell you that is not a good feeling. On one hand, one man is taking away families' livelihoods. On the other hand, a strong woman like Kalida is fighting to save these jobs. Jeff, we know you've also been vigorously fighting to save jobs of teachers and safeguard the interests of school children. Can you please tell our listeners more about that?
Absolutely. So it's really my belief that when teachers are fighting for better working conditions and to make their job better, we're always fighting for learning conditions, for what's going to make students' lives better. And so we know, like when we're in the process of working with the government right now in what's called collective bargaining. So we're sitting down and we have a contract, and it talks about everything from how much we get paid to how many sick days we get to the benefits that we receive for healthcare as teachers. But a big part of what our members believe, and I would say many teachers believe, is that if we don't address things like the sizes of classrooms and the number of students in the classroom, then nothing is going to change. And so that's part of what we're fighting for right now when we bargain with the government. Yes, wages are part of a contract, but that's not our main goal as a teachers union. We want to see smaller class sizes. We want to see more support for children with special needs. So we just don't have the resources in our schools to address all students' needs. And so one of the things that we really believe is we're asking that the government step up and put more educational assistants in our schools, more child and youth workers, more speech and language pathologists, all these people that may not be classroom teachers, but they help children. Because unfortunately, when they're looking to find money in a budget, the government thinks, well, we're only going to pay for teachers. That's one of the things that we see. And teachers know that that's not okay, that we cannot do our jobs without educational assistants, without designated early childhood educators, all these different people that help us in our schools. We're also fighting for things like more dedicated teachers for some of the subjects that you have. So things like a music teacher. Many times you probably are in schools where you may not have somebody who is a qualified or a certified music teacher. So they didn't go to school for music, but they're teaching music. And they're doing a great job, the best job that they can do. But imagine what that would be like if you had somebody who was a musician. And the same with our art teachers, making sure that we always have teachers who can teach visual arts, phys ed, science, all of these subjects. We believe it's really important that those people are experts and that they are teaching from not only their experience, but their knowledge. And there's a whole bunch of different things that we're fighting for and asking for that may not directly improve our salaries or make, get us more money, but it's about what we can do to ensure that students are having a better experience. And so that's part of what we're fighting for and what we're asking for. And you talked a lot about election days being very important, voter turnout being very important, and teachers are voters. They're we did a survey of our membership last year after the provincial election, and over 90% of our members voted. And that's very high compared to the average population. So our members are definitely people who get out there and vote, but they also do things like send letters to their MPPs, and they also talk to family and friends about some of these issues. And so, one of the things I would encourage a lot of our listeners to do is talk to the teachers. Like, what is it that you are fighting for right now? And you may have heard tomorrow, there are some colleagues in the Canadian Union of Public Employees, so that's CUPE, both locally and around the province, luckily not in the Waterloo Region District School Board, which we are part of, that are going out on strike potentially tomorrow. So they're stopping, they're saying, you know what, we're not going into work and we're not going to get paid, and we're going to set up a picket line and we're going to say, nope, enough is enough. And that is exactly what those our colleagues are fighting for. And so, we think it's really important that the government steps up and make sure that these people are being paid appropriately. And what a lot of people don't know is our educational assistants, they are not making enough money. They're making between $30,000 and $40,000 a year or less. And many of them are working part-time hours and don't have great benefits. And so as teachers who make more money than that, we are saying, no, they need to be paid more as well. So a big push of what we're doing is not just about, ourselves, as much as, like you said, the general public may believe that at times. It's not about ourselves, it's about our students, and it's about those in our school systems that aren't paid what they should be paid for the jobs that they are doing.
Thank you.
Jeff, for all youth, affordable education matters. Where do you stand on that?
Where I stand is it's not even about affordable education. I think it should be free. I think education, it at all levels should be a right and not a privilege. And, we are lucky in Ontario and in Canada that we do have a public education system that is free. But if you want to go beyond and go into college, if you want to go to university, you have to pay for that. And you have to pay a lot of money for that. And those costs are only going up. And a lot of students in their university years are racking up thousands of dollars in debt. where you're coming out of school and you have taken loans for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. And so you're starting your working life without money, actually owing people money, which I don't think is right. I think that, and this is my personal opinion, that everyone should be able to get the schooling that they need and they want, because that will only make them more successful. And when you're successful, then you're not needing to go to the government and ask for help, because
it just keeps growing.
Exactly. Like, it makes sense to me.
And it brings businesses in too.
Absolutely. So when we hear things that are happening at the university level right now, where the government is looking for efficiencies, they say, to try to make it, to make some savings so they can put money elsewhere. And usually it's to give rich people tax breaks. It's frustrating, because these are sometimes the most vulnerable kids who can't go to school. But people who have money, people who make a lot of money, are able to go to school. And so that's why I say with the affordable part, I believe affordable education is important, but I think it should be free. And I really do strongly believe that, because it does equalize everything.
Thank you. Jeff, why do you think the youth and minorities votes matters, and what steps can be taken to get them more involved in the election process?
They matter because, I think so often, I'm going to start throwing some big words out here. A lot of people are systemically oppressed, meaning because of the color of your skin, where you've come from, your economic status, whether you're LGBTQ+, a lot of times our systems, our school systems, our healthcare, our governments aren't set up to help all people. Oftentimes there's things that we may not even be aware of that push people down to try to keep them where they are, so that the powerful, like you said, keep getting more powerful and more money, and those of us who don't identify in that way are kept down, so that we're not able to gain more power. So I think it's really important that youth and minorities get out and vote, all groups having that equal opportunity to have their voice heard. And I think it's not even just the vote part, and I think what steps can be taken. Don't think about elections as the only thing that creates change, particularly from kids, because kids, you have to be 18 to vote. I think that should be 16, but I think that when you're kids, you still have a voice. And what that means is you need to be doing things like walking on a picket line or filling in petitions for things that you believe in. It could be sending letters to your MPPs or the mayor or city councilors and saying these things. But not only that, but also talking to other adults who are voters, because their vote, they are able to vote. And if youth are able to say, we believe in this, we're not able to vote yet, please think about us in this way when you hit the ballot box, even in a couple weeks, it has an impact. And so I really believe that is an important part, not just the voting part, but doing things in between elections can have a huge impact. And I think in every school, we have something called there's a group called Civics, and they organize something called Student Vote. And it's where teachers can bring in conversations about politics and about the election, and they actually do a vote themselves. That vote doesn't impact the general election, but it allows youth a chance to share who they believe in, no matter what they believe in. They could totally disagree with everything I said today, and I'm fine with that. And that is an organization that I think has done some amazing work, but it should be in every single school at all levels, where students have a chance to talk about, what is this election? What does it mean? Because when we do it in our schools, in our public schools, all students, no matter who they are, have a chance to have those conversations. And like I said earlier, teachers are very involved in voting. We are always out there at the ballot box voting and making sure our voice is heard. So we have an understanding of that and are well prepared to make sure that our students can do that as well. So if you don't have student vote in your school, ask about it and ask to see how can we make this happen, because you learn about all the different political parties, where they stand, where your beliefs stand in comparison, and then a day before the election or a couple days or even the week before, you actually get to do a real vote where they send you ballots that look like the exact ballots that you'd be doing if you were voting over 18, and you put them in a real ballot box, and you have people who count the votes. Like, it's a whole process, and I think it's really important that everyone experiences that. So I'd encourage you to talk about that and reach out to make sure that happens in your schools.
Thank you.
I want all our listeners to know that we neither support nor oppose any guest or their views. My awareness campaign is solely to make youth and minorities become more involved in the election process. Youth, have you noticed that there are very little opportunities, events, or programs for us? We who are in the middle and high schools, we're the ones who are full of energy, dreams, and inspirations. We have the capacity to change the world. And if provided with the right tools, we can do what we were born to do, just to innovate and create and make our world a better place for everyone. And I know we'll have a great time while doing all that. Right now, even during summer break, we were losing a lot of our precious time, and it's not our fault at all. I know that the Waterloo Region District School Board, the WRDSB, has 16 secondary schools and 19,854 total secondary students. So I would like to request our Kitchener Mayor Barry to start as a pilot project and include some middle and high schools in our region and make a space tailored for us, the youth, ages 13 to 17. I know that there are spaces like the YMCA in Waterloo with a library, or a library next to a high school, or a community center in Kitchener. I am talking about a space specially tailored for an age group of 13 to 17 years old, as they're the ones who can change the world, who have huge dreams, and who need to channel their energies in the right direction. I'm thinking of a space under one roof which is all season. All season is a term used by my dad who's in real estate. I'm thinking of a space which has its own library, a couple of basketball courts, a gym, an ice rink, and a swimming pool. A space which has the music and art studio, which has its own digital technologies learning hub, and which has a mini theater, just like the one in the downtown Kitchener Library. I'm thinking of a space which has rock climbing, pool tables, and a video games room, and has its own food court. A space where you can get tutoring in math, physics, chemistry, biology, and other sciences and art subjects. I'm thinking of a space which has a trades learning room, where we can get information and working experience in the trades. A space where you can have a kitchen, where we can learn to make meals, so we're prepared for college, university, and our adult lives. A space where we can have tech workshops on video game making, writing, tech, finance, farming, equity, diversity, inclusion, and many more. We can have Break the Stigma workshops. BTS is a club I've started in my school this fall. We can have workshops on climate change and what we can do to preserve our precious environment. To me, many institutions and companies would like to come and do workshops, not just for free, but to sponsor many of the events too. Like Manulife or Google Kitchener will not only sponsor but do workshops for free, as they will see us as their future workforce, a great resource, and as their future clients. Also, I'm sure teams from our regional universities would be more than happy to come and coach us in sports. This place should be open 7 days a week. The timing for seasons we can decide later. This space should be free of cost or with very minimal monthly membership fees. I know the province will also chip in because this space will prepare us, the youth, to be prepared for the future jobs and for us to be creative. The better we, the youth, are prepared, the better output we will give, and thus more money will be generated because we will be ready for better paying jobs, and in return we will pay more taxes to the government. It's a win-win situation for anyone. Hey Justin Bieber, we belong to a region where you grew up. You are like our neighbor. Please help us in making our space. We can name the Music and Arts Studio as Never Say Never Studio. We can call this place the Chill and Create or the Squats Hangout. I'm sure this place will not be very expensive, but the mayor's finance team can do the budgeting. I believe that this place will make our region strong and great. Hey Barry, think about it. Don't be the mayor they call the man, but be the mayor we call the chill dude. Okay, enough of slang from me. Hey guys, we are the youngest Canadian radio show hosts, but before this radio show, we also make video games too, and we claim to be the youngest siblings to make video games in the world. One of our video games is titled Trevor vs. the Heart of Doom. Trevor's power is real Canadian milk and makes Trevor strong. We also started a school project called Making Canadian Kids Strong Again, one kid, one glass of milk at a time. We want milk to be given to elementary school students every school day, free of cost.
Hey guys, it's Abdullah here. With our video games, we also create a lot of characters. Some of them include Shooty Fruity, which represents compassion, which represents compassion and has many flavors of diversity. Sheer Soda, who has a bubbly and friendly personality, is also very understanding. Mother Mary, who cares about her environment and wants to protect it. Jug Meat, he is calm, he keeps his composure and holds everyone together. He is also very tough and sturdy. You can check all our characters on our website at www.alaconciel.ca. That is www.aalaaconseil.ca and order our t-shirts. The money we raise will also help us in making our community strong again, especially for the kids. Also, we are publishing our first 4 comics. Our comic titles are 1. The Space Force Saves the Moon. Story where the children are separated from their parents and taken to the moon and how they are reunited. 2. Trevor versus the Heart of Doom. The story of how the parents of Trevor are kidnapped and how Trevor uses the power of real Canadian milk to save them. 3. The Pamper League versus the Diabolical Diapers. Story of how Super Baby, Pacifier, Boy, and Pamper Girl fight off Diabolical Diaper and his henchmen. 4. The Perils of the Diviners. Story of how man and nature can survive in harmony. Again, the money we raise will also help us in making our community strong again, especially for the kids.
Hey guys, as you know, singing is also a part of our radio show. So enjoy Grenade by Bruno Mars.
Easy come, easy go. That's just how you live. Oh, take it all, but you'll never give. Should've known you were trouble from your first kiss. Had your eyes wide open. Why were they open? Who gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash? You tossed it in the trash, you did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. 'Cause what you don't understand is I catch a grenade for you. Yeah, yeah. Throw my head on a blade for you. Yeah, yeah. I jump in front of a train for you. Yeah, yeah. You know I'd do anything for you. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I would go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby, but you won't do the same. No, 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 no. Black, black and blue. Beat me till I'm numb. Tell the devil I say, hey, when you get back to where you're from. Mad woman, that's just what you are. Yeah, you'll smile in my face, then rip the brakes out my car. Give you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. You tossed it in the trash, yes you did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. 'Cause what you don't understand is I catch a grenade for you. Yeah, yeah. Throw my head on a blade for you. Yeah, yeah. I jump in front of a train for you. Yeah, yeah. You know I'd do anything for you. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I would go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby, but you won't do the same. If my body was on fire, oh, you watched me burn down in flames. You said you loved me, you're a liar, 'cause you never, ever did, baby. But darling, I'd still catch a grenade for ya. Yeah, yeah. Throw my head on a blade. I'd jump in front of a train for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know I'd do anything for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I would go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby. But you won't do the same. No, you won't do the same. You won't do the same. Oh, you never do the same. No, 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 no. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, it's Isla here, and subscribe to my Twitter at Isla_awesome. That is at AYLA_awesome. And Instagram, Isla_awesome forever. That is AYLA_awesome forever.
Hi guys, we're expecting our grandmother and Uncle Non to visit us soon and see how beautiful our country Canada is, and how with hard work and with support, we have come to be what we are today. Minorities, if visas for your family and grandparents are something you hold dear and close to your heart, then your votes are what holds all that power. And I know many of us have our visas rejected and we become upset and lost. But if you use your vote and go out and talk to your candidate that this is important to you, and this is what your candidate, once elected, will help you with. You guys, we're also looking for sponsors for our other projects specially made for the kids in our community. Just a walking distance from our studio is Google. Hey Google, sponsor our projects. Tui's and Walmart, what about you? For more information, visit our website, www.alaconsay.ca. That is www.aalaaconcal.ca. Youth and minorities, let us know what's important to you so we can share it here. You can text us at 519-721-2905 or email us at ourchildrenmatter@alaconsay.ca. Again, thank you, Jeff, for being on our radio show. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Nope, you did an awesome singing job there.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget to catch us next week, same time, same channel. CKMS 102.7 FM, Radio Waterloo. Remember, hashtag Can Youth Vote Matter and hashtag Can Minority Vote Matter. It does. It does. Thank you.